Hey everybody, welcome back down to the shop. Brian Fadrosh from Brian Fadrosh Designs.
And I'm Sheila Fadrosh, also known as Lady Delatour. And today we're going to be talking about making in the time of the plague.
I don't want to talk about making in the time of the plague.
Why not?
It makes me sad.
Aww. We're going to talk about it anyway.
She's not wrong. So before we get into what we wanted to talk about, we just wanted to say we hope everybody is safe and sound of as mind as you possibly can, and hope that you guys are doing really well. I know this whole lockdown COVID pandemic stuff has been difficult on so many people for so many different reasons. And I've kind of seen both sides of that. For what I do for a living, I am considered an essential worker, so I've been working straight through the entire time. So the whole COVID-19 thing's been, first and foremost, every hour, every day, every freaking minute of my life since it started. And I know there's a number of people that are in that same boat. And I also know there are a number of other people who are on the opposite side of that spectrum, like this one, who is unemployed.
I'm the quintessential non-essential worker. No one needs me.
I need you. But it's hard on so many levels, but I also think that specifically for makers and cosplayers, this is a really hard time. And that was something that you had wanted to talk about because you noticed something that when you were looking online.
Yes. So certainly there's been a trend of posts, usually kind of in response to the fact that cons have been and will continue probably. I think Dragon Con is still up, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Did it finally cancel?
I think it did. If it didn't, it probably will.
Yeah.
Like everything else in the world.
They are canceling. And so there is definitely a sense in the communities of, I mean, some of the jokes are, you know, oh, hell, now I've got an extra year to finish my cosplay. Of course, I won't. I'll do it 24 hours before the con. Ha ha. But there's also a lot of sadness and a lot of feeling of, well, what's even the point? So what's the point of keeping going working on my cosplay? And that's hard. That's hard. It's a big part of our community is the making.
It is hard. It's hard it's hard to keep doing what you're doing when you don't have a clear-cut reason for doing it sometimes, because I think we all get hung up on that whole idea of I'm building this for this con, and then that con cancels. So then you go, well, I'll make it for this con, and then that con cancels, and you just keep doing that. No, I'm not okay, because there have been times where I have gotten to the point where I really don't know why the hell I'm even doing this anymore. Like, what the fuck's the point? Because it's
language, Captain America.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Got a little angry. Sorry.
It can be hard to keep going when you don't have this shiny, bright finish line of the date of the con
really
in
hard.
Front of you. Really hard.
I can't take it. Okay.
Are you better now?
I am
okay.
A little bit more collected.
All right. Now that Brian has pulled himself together, we just want to take a few minutes and maybe give you some thoughts or some strategies for changing your mindset when everything feels a little pointless or hopeless with your cosplay making.
First off, it's not pointless.
Yes, it is absolutely not pointless in any way.
It's not pointless, and don't get sucked into that, because, and we all do, and I know it's easier said than done, but I mean, I certainly know I've gotten some times that I've gotten, kind of caught up in that. For me, one of the things that helped was me refocusing on what deadline I was working with. Mm-hmm. So, initially when you're doing a build because you have it in your head, I want to do this build for this specific convention. And then that convention cancels. And then you're like, well, then I'll do it for this next convention. And then that convention cancels. So instead of being focused on a deadline of, I need to build this for this convention, I changed that in my own head as to, The deadline that I'm working towards is I want to have this done so I can share this in all the maker groups that I belong to. I wanted to have this done so I could start planning out the next build video. Take a different perspective on what your deadline is for why you're building it. Instead of being focused on the fact that, there's not a con to go to, there's other ways that you can share that. And there's other ways that you can, put that art out into the world. It's like everything else with this whole pandemic thing. It's a shift of what normal is.
True. And for myself, as far as my continued making is concerned, for me, it's the act of creating itself is its own reward. Just that I end up with a concrete product at the end of it is that's a rush for me. I did that. I made that. And whether or not I get to ever wear it somewhere is kind of secondary. Like, yes, I do like to share it, but I also just I'm like a dragon. I'm just hoarding things. I'm hoarding things that I made. Yeah. It's the act itself.
It is. I mean,
can and should be enough that is a reward in and of itself.
It should be, but it's not.
Well, it is for me.
Maybe for
I'm
you.
sorry that it's not for you.
It's.
Are you not pleased to have that grifter mask there?
Does
not make you happy when you walk in and you see it and you're like, I did that.
It does. The thing that I really like the most about the grifter mask is I did things that I haven't really done before.
Correct. That's sort of leading into the next point.
Right. And I think the other point that we want to bring up is this really gives you an opportunity to be able to you want to spread your wings. I feel like you got to do that when you say you want to spread your wings.
Maybe you do, but I don't.
Take the time to be able to kind of stretch what your skill set is. So for like the grifter mask, one thing that I've never done is really used. I have an airbrush set. I have an airbrush kit. It's not the greatest, but I have one. And I hardly ever use it because it terrifies me. Because I'm scared I'm going to mess something up. Well, yeah. Because I'm scared I'm going to screw it up and then I don't want to do it all over again. But again, I kind of looked at it from the point of view of I don't have anywhere that I need to have this done by. I can take the time to figure out how to use it. I can take the time that if I mess it up, what's the worst that's going to happen? I have to take more time. It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Correct.
So I think one of the other things that you can possibly do during this time where you're not able to go to conventions is you can kind of start building a skill set and trying things differently and doing things differently.
It's also important to keep burnishing the skills that you have worked so hard to gain in the time that you have been making and learning. Because as with anything, I'm a dancer. I haven't really been dancing because I don't have the space. So I know those skills are going to be super rusty when I go back to them. If you're a singer, if you play an instrument, anything, if you don't continue to practice your skills and you just let them lie dormant, they get rusty. And so that's a really good reason to keep going so that when we all get back together again, you don't have to relearn all of these things.
And I also think, one, that's an excellent point. And two, I think that's another important point that you just brought up is the fact that eventually we're all going to get back together again. Like this isn't
go forever.
It feels like it.
I know.
It really does, but it's not. Eventually this has to pass. Eventually, there has to be the opportunity. I mean, granted, it may be the apocalypse and we're all out, in our foam armor because we're trying to fight against zombies. But
anything but zombies. Anything but zombies. So, not a fan of zombies.
She doesn't like zombies.
I don't like zombies. So that's important. It's important to maintain your skill sets. And as Brian said, to take the time to develop new ones. Because another really important part of maintaining your health, your mental health, your brain health, which really impacts your body health quite a bit, is you need to keep learning. You need to keep the neurons in your brain need to keep creating new pathways.
Like neuron.
That's how you create brain health, especially as you get older. Like him. You need to keep learning and growing. And so, I mean, that's why I'm so young, because I never stop learning.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is. It's my constant endeavor to always be absorbing new information.
Should I just tell them now that you're a vampire? Okay.
So that also, again, that's a really important task that you need to put in front of yourself.
Agreed.
To keep learning and growing.
Yes, I agree.
In the time of the plague.
In the time of the plague.
And then we'll have the Renaissance. That was like clouds, like Renaissance clouds with the sunlight coming through.
I've never heard sunlight make that noise. I'm just telling you. Like, that noise has never happened. Right. When sun has come through the clouds, you never hear
fine.
Or however you made that
ruined my moment. That's fine.
One of the other things that I think is important is that you do this, which is laugh.
I mean, laugh at yourself, laugh at somebody else.
Laugh at other people if you have the opportunity to. In all seriousness, I think what people need to do is
laugh. Come on, that was good.
Yeah, it was good. I think in all seriousness, I think people need to laugh. I think people need to find joy in what they do. This is all serious business. It really is. The whole pandemic and all of it, it's serious. But you can't let it weigh you down. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay attention to social distancing and wearing a mask and doing all that other stuff. But don't let it crush you. Don't let it make you just sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix and then never get into the shop. Like, don't let that happen.
But so what if you can't?
What if you can't stop yourself from sitting on the couch and binge watching Netflix while eating Cheetos?
Because you're just too depressed. What do you do?
Well, there's one of the things that I think has worked for me is what I have found that in a lot of the groups that I belong to, whether it be in the steampunk groups that I belong to, the maker groups that I belong to, everyone's really supportive because everybody is going through it. So that tends to help. I've seen a number of posts of, makers saying, I just can't. I just can't. And it's just thread after thread, comment after comment of, yeah, you can. You can do this. Go do this and show us what it looks like. And I think that's one of the things that people tend to lose sight of is, the maker community and the cosplay community, for the most part, are incredibly supportive of each other because, again, we're all going through this together. So it's, yes. reach out to people through those groups, and use those groups for that outlet to be like, look what I did. This is what I made.
And if you can't find the gumption right away to make something, that's okay. Take out your favorite cosplay, put it on, and put the makeup on, and take a
just wear makeup.
Quarantine cosplay.
I never wear makeup.
Sometimes you've been known to wear some guyliner. Some quarantine cosplay.
I'm supposed to tell anybody.
And post your picture, do a new picture, and
I think it's an awesome idea.
Let that inspire you.
Yeah, don't do it to be like, oh, this is an old cosplay and it looks horrible, or I need to change this, or I need to change that. Like, just put it on and go take pictures of yourself.
I do.
Constantly. You know what would be a good idea?
What would be a good idea?
Anybody watching this right now?
Right now.
Or, 10 minutes from now when you're watching it later, or next week, or whenever. It's
like a time machine.
Look, if you're stuck, go take that picture and post it in the comments down below.
You have to take a new picture, though.
It's got to be a new picture. Can't be an old picture. It has to be in your backyard or in your house with your dog or cat or something. You got to hold a newspaper up to prove the date and time. No.
Proof of life.
No proof of life. But share either what you're working on or what you've worked on. We'd love to see it.
We would love to see it. And maybe if we got enough of them, we could put them together into some kind of compilation.
We can do that.
And then share it.
We have the technology.
Through art. We have the technology, Jim.
So what this all boils down to is we're all going through this together.
Separately.
Because of social distancing.
Together, but separately.
Exactly. But you're not alone in feeling that way. Just don't let it stop you from building. Don't let it stop you from making.
We're the cosplayers. We don't give up.
Yeah, what she said. If you like our videos, if you like what we're doing, by all means, make sure you like, you subscribe, drop us a comment down below. We want to see pictures. Like, by all means, I would love to see pictures. That would get me moving even more so. It would. I think that would inspire me. We talk about how, our whole deal is about inspiring and creating. I wanted to have you guys inspire me. So send me pictures of what you're working on, what you've worked on, and what you're looking forward to.
Or your dog. We like dogs.
Dogs are cool. Anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so.
We hope everybody's doing good. We really do. And we're really looking forward to the opportunity to be able to see everybody face to face and in person. We're really looking forward to that time where we can start doing that again. All right. So I do know how to sign this one off since we're doing this together. Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
We'll catch you guys next time.
What's wrong with you?
I don't like that one.